They say love conquers all. But what happens when love is all you have and the world demands more? Kunle watched her leave that night. Not because she hated him, not because she had stopped loving him, but because love alone was not enough. He remembered the apartment, the small single room on the mainland, the mattress on the floor, the fan that groaned through the night. He remembered the market where she smiled through the heat and dust, selling plastic bowls and phone chargers, her honesty brighter than the sun. And he remembered thinking, as he had every day, that love would be enough. Kunle lived in a small single-room apartment on the mainland of Lagos. The kind of apartment where the door almost touched the bed and where stepping outside was the only way to breathe properly. Rain leaked through the window frame during the wet season, and in the dry season, the sun trapped heat inside the cracked yellow walls, making the room feel smaller than it already was. The mattress lay directly on the floor, thin and uneven, soft in the wrong places, hard in all the others. A standing fan leaned in the corner, permanently tilted, making more noise than breeze, a constant companion during long, restless nights. Neighbors' voices came through the thin walls. Arguments, laughter, babies crying, couples fighting. The sounds were unavoidable, but somehow Kunle had learned to live with them. And then there was Zainab. She had a smile that made the apartment feel warmer even in the hottest months. It wasn't a loud smile. It wasn't forced. It was quiet, honest, and filled the tiny space with hope. Zainab sold household items at the market: plastic bowls, buckets, phone chargers, hair accessories arranged neatly on wooden tables. Every morning, she set up her stall with precision, as if order could attract customers, as if the sun and the heat and the dust could not touch her resolve. Her feet were always sore from walking to and from the market, from standing all day negotiating with customers. Yet, she smiled, even when business was slow, even when the sun beat down mercilessly. Kunle often stood at a distance, watching her. He noticed how she spoke to people with patience, how she refused to take advantage, how she balanced kindness with firmness. It made him proud, not because she made money, but because she was honest. Every morning, Kunle walked her part of the route to the market, dodging traffic, pushing past street hawkers, stepping around puddles filled with oil and mud. They sometimes shared a laugh when someone tripped over a motorbike cable or when a goat wandered into the street. These small things became their moments. Kunle was not a man who lived without effort. He woke before the sun, washed with cold water, dressed in the same few shirts he had, washed by hand, and stepped into Lagos streets that were already alive with noise, heat, and chaos. He delivered boxes for small businesses, ran errands, and sometimes worked in construction, carrying sand, mixing cement, his hands blistered, his body aching, but his hope never fully broken. Payment was not guaranteed. Sometimes it came, sometimes it didn't. And yet, each morning he whispered to himself, "Today will be better." Money was always tight. 1 meal a day, sometimes none at all. He learned to drink water to silence hunger, to pretend fullness so Zainab would have enough to eat, to smile even when his body screamed with exhaustion. Through it all, he loved her. At night, they would sit on the mattress, backs pressed to the wall, talking about a future that seemed just beyond their reach. They spoke of marriage, a better home, children who would never suffer. They laughed, argued playfully, dreamed freely, rich in love but poor in everything else. Kunle believed love would be enough. He truly did. But life has a quiet way of intruding. Rent reminders came, first polite, then firm, then threatening. He returned home some days empty-handed, and he could see the weight in Zainab's eyes. She never complained, but hunger speaks without words. He noticed how she hesitated before eating, how she pushed portions toward him, how her smiles became shorter, more careful. And at night, he would lie awake listening to the fan, listening to the neighbors, listening to his own thoughts. Fear settled in his chest, the fear of being loved but unable to provide, the fear of trying his best and still falling short. Some days he walked the streets alone, watching couples dying in places he could not afford, watching children with new shoes dash past puddles, watching Lagos glow with a life he could not grasp. He envied it. He hated himself for envying it, but he could not help it. He tried in small ways to show his love. A snack from the corner shop, a hand on Zainab's aching forehead, a listening ear when she complained about her feet, her back, or the market. He wanted her to feel loved even when he could not offer stability. But over time, those small gestures were not enough. Zainab's laughter changed. Her hands became calloused. Her glances sometimes wandered toward men who could offer her the security he could not. And then stability appeared, quietly. His name was Mr. Adewale. He met Zainab at the market, in his clean clothes, his calm voice, his car that always started. He noticed her honesty, her consistency. He offered her a job, not inappropriate, not forcing anything, just work with transport money and a regular salary. Kunle watched as her life subtly shifted. New shoes, peaceful mornings, silence between them that was not heavy but inevitable. She still came home, cooked, smiled, but something had changed, and Kunle had nothing to compete with that. He did not confront her. What could he say? I am trying, she knew. Love you, she knew. Arguments disappeared not because life had improved, but because words had become too heavy. He was fighting a man that did not even exist in the same space, a man who solved problems Kunle could not, no matter how hard he tried. Each night he felt a little smaller, a little weaker, as if his love alone could not fill the space life demanded. The decision did not come suddenly. It formed slowly, like water eroding stone. One night he asked her to sit. His voice shook as he said, "If love is what keeps you here, then I do not love you enough." She cried. She begged. She did not understand, but it was true. Sometimes love must let go before it turns to resentment. He watched her pack her things. Each folded cloth felt like a final chapter. When she closed the door, he did not cry. He simply sat, breathed, and accepted what had to happen. Time passed. Days, weeks, months. Life continued. One afternoon, he saw her again. She looked well, happy. Another man beside her, offering the comfort Kunle could not. He smiled, because love does not always mean staying. Sometimes it means stepping aside. Kunle did not lose her because he did not love her. He lost her because love on its own was not enough. In a place like Lagos, sometimes survival demands more than the heart can give. Would anyone choose love over survival? Sometimes there is no answer.